Well, if I'm in a suit on the Watch Along Wrestling YouTube channel, that could only mean one thing. It's WWE Hall of Fame season. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling. Hopefully everyone is doing well and staying safe. You know, we're about 6 weeks away from WrestleMania 38, and other than the main show, we really haven't heard too many details related to some of the other marquee events that go on during that weekend. Hall of Fame, NXT Stand and Deliver. We've heard nothing at all about WWE Access. But that all changed today when we did get some details on the Hall of Fame. I'm going to get to them in a second. But before I do, make sure you leave a big thumbs up and subscribe to Watch Along Wrestling. We're having a lot of fun here on the channel going through our WrestleMania 38 hype station as the days continue down the road to WrestleMania, and hopefully you guys are enjoying them as much as I am. All right, so this morning, the big news that came down is that, to the surprise probably of not too many, the headliner of this year's WWE Hall of Fame ceremony will indeed be The Undertaker. Obviously one of the biggest characters, probably the most successful character in the history of WWE, a character that spanned 3 decades starting in 1990 and just ending his run at Survivor Series of last year, actually of 2020. So he had a 30-year run with that character and continues to do stuff today. So The Undertaker, obviously, the only choice in my opinion. I know some folks, Batista was trending on Twitter earlier today because I think some folks are thinking, hey, what about Batista? He was the headliner last year and didn't show up to the event because, no, he didn't show up. He canceled because he said he wanted to be there in front of fans. I think we're going to get to Batista. I think Batista is going to be his own headliner, probably should be his own headliner, and definitely shouldn't be co-headlining with The Undertaker. I think Undertaker is somebody who, you know, you can make a case, deserves his very own class in the Hall of Fame. And certainly I don't think you would need another big marquee name like Dave Batista. And I also think Batista could be someone that can go in next year in LA. He's someone who kind of fits the Hollywood vibe and Hollywood narrative more so than The Undertaker, who I think is perfect for Dallas, Texas, is perfect for this year's WrestleMania, especially because this is the first real WrestleMania where you're going to have a Hall of Fame in front of fans. They are going to be putting that on sale, which I'll get to in a minute. So it makes sense for Undertaker to get that place in front of fans, to be able to get out, wave, say goodbye, and get that proper send-off that he didn't really get in 2020 because of the pandemic, and and it was in the Thunderdome, and last year's WrestleMania, it was in front of fans, but the Hall of Fame wasn't. So this is great. I'm really excited about this. I mean, we talked about the other day the potential of Stone Cold to return to WrestleMania just the other day. And now here we are talking about The Undertaker being a part of the event as well, which you kind of figured because he was a part of the on-sale event, and obviously I think he's synonymous with WWE and with WrestleMania and with Texas. So I think it's great to have Undertaker a part of things. So this, of course, begs the question, who should induct the dead man? I put up a couple names over on Twitter. Of course, I did include my friends over at Talkin' Taker. What's going on, Alex and Travis? Would be great to see them, who've done an entire podcast dedicated to the career of The Undertaker, going match by match, not skipping a single Big Show pay-per-view match, and made sure that they got the opportunity to induct him. But unfortunately, I don't think that's the way they're going to go. I think really it bears down to 3 names. I think your first and foremost, most obvious choice would be Kane. I think Kane has been, certainly over the last couple of years, specifically really a part with that Undertaker character, the Brothers of Destruction, so to speak. I think they've been involved in more together post-retirement for both guys. And Kane, I know, really technically hasn't retired, but those guys, ever since they've winded down their in-ring careers, have kind of been hand in hand. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Kane's entire career is based off a spin-off of The Undertaker. And I don't know how many other characters can really say that. I mean, literally, Kane, if there's no Undertaker, there's no Kane. So I think it would make a lot of sense. Obviously, I think he also makes a lot of sense because it can't be Paul Bearer. So I think other than Paul Bearer, he's probably your best choice. A couple other names that do spring to mind, though, obviously would be Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, the best WrestleMania match with The Undertaker, and is the guy that The Undertaker retired. With that being said, I'd also think that another name you might want to throw in here, and a little bit of a dark horse name, and I do not expect this to happen. So, but with that being said, I did hear Brock Lesnar's appearance on the Pat McAfee show. Brock Lesnar came across great. Brock is having a lot of fun. Who's to say that maybe this year Brock Lesnar doesn't want to do a Hall of Fame induction speech? And if there's anyone he'd ever do it for, how about The Undertaker, who really solidified Brock's status as a main eventer at No Mercy 2002, is the guy that ended The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania 30, and in many ways is that event of Brock defeating The Undertaker. You think about Brock Lesnar from 2014, ending The Undertaker's streak, you can really kind of then follow the bouncing ball of people like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. The list goes on and on. The people who have become bigger stars because they've defeated Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar in WWE does not become the big force that he is right now if it's not for his defeating and ending of the streak at WrestleMania 30. So I think Brock Lesnar would be a great person to induct the Undertaker. And the last choice, and this one, he's only done 2 inductions, I believe, in my time here. In his time since I've done Brock the Hall of Fame, I believe he did Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he did Donald Trump. Of course, I'm thinking about Vince McMahon, the man who created the Undertaker character, and really, I think deserves a little bit of a bow here. Come on out and introduce the Undertaker, a guy who's given him 30 years for his business. I mean, I don't think he could ask for much more than that, and I think that this would be a perfect opportunity for Vince McMahon to come out and induct the Undertaker. With that being said, one of the other pieces that we need to discuss here is the timing of this event. Tickets do go on sale for this on Tuesday, and they have announced that the Hall of Fame is going to take place on Friday night, immediately following SmackDown Live. I gotta be honest, this doesn't make the most sense to me. It feels like if you've got a marquee name like The Undertaker, you'd want to maximize your profitability in terms of putting this event on sale for the most amount of people. And for me, that means putting it on Thursday. There's nothing going on Thursday. I can tell you that most people going to WrestleMania weekend are going to be in town. I know if I go, I'll be there on Wednesday. So I know a lot of people who go there and are in town usually are there by Thursday. And at that moment, you're pining for something wrestling related. You want as much wrestling as you possibly can. So for me, it makes a lot of sense to put this event on Thursday, but it does seem like they're going to be doing it on Friday evening after SmackDown, and looks like this is going to air live on the Peacock Network Central Time at 9:30 p.m. So remember, they're an hour ahead of us here on the East Coast. So right now, as I record, it's about 4 o'clock. So over there, it's 3 o'clock. So this will be in a half hour that it'll air after SmackDown. So if it's in the same building as SmackDown is, and I'm not sure where SmackDown's taking place, but I'm assuming it's at the American Airlines Arena, and if that's the case, you're going to have everybody basically, if you've got tickets for SmackDown, you've got tickets for the Hall of Fame. You're not going to be able to get everybody out of the building and then get a whole new bunch of people in the building in time for this event. Also, the idea that it's only airing from 9:30 to 11:30 has me believe we're going to have a less number of people being inducted into the Hall of Fame itself. You have The Undertaker, obviously a huge name. I think he should get a full hour. So I think you only need probably 2 or 3 other names. We'll get into who I think should go in at a different date, but it's definitely something to think about potentially this year. Maybe they're just going to do The Undertaker. Maybe it's the night with The Undertaker, which I think would be a lot of fun. But yeah, WWE asking for a lot of the people that are going to be in town for that WrestleMania. You're going to be going to SmackDown. You're going to have the Hall of Fame. Saturday morning, you're going to have NXT, and then Saturday night, the first night of WrestleMania. That's 4 shows in a span of 24 hours. People are going to be wiped. And then, oh, by the way, Sunday night is the second night of WrestleMania. So tons of stuff going on if you want to, and then Raw. So if you want to get everything in that you possibly can, you're going to have a very, very busy and compact time period where you're going to have to do everything. I think they probably would have been better served having the Hall of Fame on that Thursday, certainly. And then if you want to do Friday afternoon even for NXT, people are going to be around. So I think that makes a lot more sense than putting it on right before the first night of WrestleMania. I mean, that is just a long day for folks that'll be doing that. And for someone like myself who's bringing my wife to Mania, if we do go, we're not there yet, but if we do go, I know I brought up the idea, NXT's on Saturday morning, and she was like, no. Like, if we're doing 2 nights of Mania, we're definitely not doing NXT. Which is a shame because it's been the highlight of a couple of different Mania weekends. So, in any event, that's neither here nor there. This is about The Undertaker. Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame. Give me some of your favorite moments of The Undertaker in the comment section, and let me know who you'd like to see induct the dead man into the WWE Hall of Fame class. And of course, as we continue to get more of these inductees, I will pull back out the old scissor, and we'll go ahead and talk about him here on Watch Like Wrestling. See you guys next video.